everybody. This is Dwayne again. I'm here for the second half of this lesson, gratitude. Okay, and we're here in the month of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is quickly coming up, and so it's a good time to be thankful, a good time to have gratitude about so many things in our life. And I apologize for the last lesson. It kind of cut off right there at the end, but we were on the last question anyway, so I didn't redo the whole video. So I'm just here to tell you, if you filled out that list and answered those questions and you completed that part of it. So we're still on step 7, or principle 7, and we're still on step 11, okay? Reserve a daily time with God for self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer in order to know God and His will for my life and to gain the power to follow His will. Find time every day to pray, find time to read the Bible. If you can't find time to read the Bible, at least find time to pray, at least, pray and reflect. Be sure to pray and reflect. Some say meditate, but you're actually slowing down enough to really try to feel God's presence, okay? Instead of just thinking about all the other things you got to do that day or all the other things you've done in the day. Although you do still need to do your daily inventory, but it's also just as important to make sure that you have daily time, to reflect on God's will in your life and to slow down enough where you can feel God's presence, okay? So step 11 says we sought through prayer meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, praying for His knowledge and His will for us and the power to carry it out. Colossians 3:16 says, let the message of Christ dwell among you richly. There's so many other messages out today, even especially with the internet age and all of the propaganda you see on the television. And yes, a lot of it is propaganda, for ratings and for advertisements to get you all bent out of shape and turned over backwards and standing on your head and angry and anxious and fearful and all these different things, is what's going on with our modern day media, which brings in advertising dollars for them, and that's a separate message. But so we have to spend a little extra time to just turn that TV off and spend some time with God in our prayer life and in our Bible reading and in our church time and being around fellowship with other people who are not asking us to go to the casino with them or asking us to go to a strip club with them or asking us to go to all these places that are very unhealthy for us, and for others. So anyway, Philippians 4:6 says, don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. Okay? As I told you before, especially with the major decisions in life, but even the smaller decisions, spend more time with God and ask His thoughts on that, before you go to bed at night and when you wake up in the morning. And He'll show you the way. The answer may not come overnight. Just have patience with Him, and He'll show you the way. Just spend the time with God, asking for His direction. He'll show you the way. Psalm 107:15 encourage us to give thanks to the Lord for His unfailing love and wonderful deeds for mankind. Give thanks to the Lord. If you have too much negativity in your life and you're only seeing the bad in people and the bad things in life, that's not a healthy place for you to be. That's not a healthy place for humanity to be. It's collectively it can destroy mankind, okay? And on an individual basis, it can destroy you. So it's very important to focus on some positive things and have some gratitude and to be thankful. As I mentioned last week, my mother says, be thankful for the little blessings. And this is coming from a little old lady that weighs 110, 112 pounds that can't get around like she used to, be thankful for the little things. Even if one person in this life loves you, you hold on to that love, hold on to that love, and you think about that love on a continual basis. And you think about God's love on a continual basis. Just because bad things happen in this world doesn't mean God is happy about that. God gave all of us free will. He gave all of us free will. And that means, we have a choice to do good things or to do bad things in our life. And to do bad things or to do good things to others. He gives us that choice. And, by not forcing us to do good or not forcing us to do bad, we are who we are, okay? And we're going to be, our lives are going to have a review of what the things we've done in this life, so to speak. And so and that goes for everybody. So it's kind of like the parable of the master who put someone in charge of his place, okay, his farm or land and plantation or whatever you want to call it. He left, the master left, or you could substitute that and say the father left and left you there by yourself and gave you full authority to make decisions on what you're going to do in your life, okay? And you either managed it well or you took all of his teachings, the things he taught you, and you tossed them to the side and you did bad things and then you lost it all. Whatever you did, it doesn't matter. But and then the masters came back, and of course he was angry about that, because he put you in charge of something. He puts us in charge of something, okay? And then it's up to us. He gives us free will, so in that way, and there are external circumstances that can cause us to mess up as well. So it's not every mistake we ever made in our life wasn't just solely our responsibility, but neither is every responsibility or every mistake we've made in our life someone else's responsibility. Okay, so that goes both ways. Okay, so give thanks to the Lord for His unfailing love. Focus on that. Focus on that love. Focus on your love of others. Focus on the love that's given you. Okay. Another thing is reflect on the past year, or the past 5 years or 10 years. Reflect on the good things that have happened, the positive things, and make a list of those things. And pray over them and thank God for those things. Okay. Second thing you can do here is look at the people God has placed in your life. Remember last week when we talked about that. Okay. Name 3 people in general. If there's more than 3, write down more than 3. If there's only 1, write down that 1. If there's nobody yet, be thankful for the person God's going to bring into your life, because you're praying for that person to come into your life, okay, or those people to come into your life. So you pray in advance, a thankfulness, a prayer of gratitude for the future people God's going to bring into your life. Another thing here, Colossians 3:15 says, "Let the peace of Christ keep you in tune with each other, in step with each other. None of this is going off and doing your own thing, and cultivate thankfulness. Let the word of Christ, the message, have the run of the house." That's only if people are going, with the Bible, if they're going along with what Jesus said. If someone betrays, strays off of that path, it doesn't matter who they are. That's why it's so important. It's more important than ever to read your Bible, to spend time with God, and to pray for God in your life, okay? This is very important. Another area here is write down what you're thankful for as far as your recovery, where you've been, where you are now, where you expect to be, 12 months from now. Write that down on the list. And then another thing is to be thankful for your church. Psalm 104 says, "Enter the temple gates with thanksgiving." Enter the temple gates with thanksgiving. Right now in this country we still have, freedom of religion. Some countries aren't so, don't have this freedom of religion, no freedom of speech. Take China for instance. I mean, you have to be careful, and I'm always leery of politicians who, praise China. Now, keep in mind, I have absolutely zero beef, and it's, do not condone any kind of hatred towards the Chinese or any other race of people or any other country, okay, as far as, because most people are there just trying to live their life, make a living, feed their family, love on their family, and so I have zero tolerance for anybody that takes something that someone says, and then tries to turn it against, an individual just because they're a different color, or because they're a different culture, or a different nationality. What I'm talking about here is the ideology or the government control, authoritative control of not allowing people to have freedom of speech or freedom of religion. I'm angry with an idea, in other words, and not the people who have been oppressed and have to succumb to that, and based on a social credit system, which is the new thing. It's not so new. It's been around for 10 years in China, but you better not say anything negative about the government or anybody like that. We've got so much to be thankful and gratitude for here at this point. Things could change in the future, but at this point, we still have a certain amount of a level of freedom of press, freedom of speech, and freedom of religion. And even though the press is probably bought by, these people who are trying to push a certain message, and that's why we're going to have a talk about this later, about you being an individual, okay? About learning how to be an individual and have a proper filter on you, about propaganda, because propaganda is dangerous and so forth. But what I'm talking about here is we still have a lot of things to be thankful for. With the internet, we're exposed to so many more things and so many more ideas. It's confusing because our minds aren't really designed to process, 10 trillion gigabytes of information, that are in constant conflict with one another. So we spend our time working on our filter, and again, working on thinking about the positive things in life. Working on thinking about the things to have gratitude about, not to be anxious about, not to be fearful about, but the good things in life. Okay. So gratitude, being gracious, having gratitude, being thankful. Write these things down, things that bring you joy in life, that bring you little joys, and you don't have to spend $1,000 a month going on vacations every month to bring you joy. Sure, that'll bring you a certain amount of joy, but it also will leave you broke. You can go camping if you enjoy that, and you don't have to spend $200,000 on a camper to do that. You can even buy a used camper or buy a tent. That's what I used to do all the time. And having a campfire on a cool night and drinking a cup of coffee, being with family or friends, that's a wonderful, wonderful experience, and it doesn't cost very much money at all. So there's things that you can find joy in that don't really cost very much. And there's things that'll bring you joy that will leave you broke. You have to learn the difference between what's going to break you, leave you broke all the time, and what's going to bring you the same amount of happiness, but it's going to help not allow you to not make your mortgage payment or pay your power bill and things like that. Okay, so and you can start transitioning into some of those things, but it starts with a list. What's the little things that you're thankful for? What's the little things that bring you joy? That don't cost a ton of money. Okay. And I think with that, I'm just going to tell you that I'm praying for you, and I hope you're praying for me. And during this holiday season, remember what my mother said. My 93-year-old mother said. She says, "Be thankful for the little blessings." And with that, I'm signing out. All right.